Welcome to our daily reflection for this Saturday, December 14th. And today is also the feast of St. John of the Cross, who is a great Carmelite, who really teaches a great deal about the interior life and the travails and trials of growing closer to God. And he talks about going through the dark night of the senses and then the dark night of the soul, and those two great deserts that have to be crossed if we're going to come to union with God, and not to be afraid. People, I think, sometimes think of it as bad news, like, what? Dark night of the senses? But really, that's a trial, to give up and realize that we have to be faithful to God and do the right thing. And sometimes that means we have to walk through a dark night of the senses. In other words, we have to be willing to sacrifice, give up consolations and pleasures in order to persevere in loyalty and friendship with God. And then the dark night of the soul is a deeper purification of our soul. So it's one thing to go through the purification of the body, but then the soul is a deeper trial and a deeper invitation. And, John uses several different metaphors. The ascent of Mount Carmel is one idea of climbing a mountain to get to the heights. Another is he writes poems of love about God, and one is the flame of love. And flame is an interesting image because it's woven into the readings we have today. And so I think that's rather interesting. The first reading is from Sirach, chapter 48, and Sirach is remembering and memorializing the great prophet Elijah, who was so mighty in deed and word. And it compares Elijah to a flame that arises and flickers, that appears before Israel. So like a fire or a flame, there appeared the prophet Elijah. And one of the things that Elijah does is he calls down 3 different times fire from heaven to destroy his enemies. And then he is taken up at the end of his life in a fiery chariot. And so fire is certainly an image that could be used for Elijah the prophet, and that fiery chariot that takes him up. But he is the one, as Sirach says, who will be a sign of renewal. And how is he going to renew Israel? Well, he'll turn, and this is a powerful image about renewal in the church and the life of God's people. He says that he will turn the hearts of fathers towards their children, right? Wow. That is the catalyst of renewal of God's people, when fathers turn and focus on their children and give themselves to their children, right? And it's a powerful image to reflect on. And of course, that's an image that we'll find in Luke chapter 1, when the angel Gabriel speaks to Zechariah and speaks about his son, John the Baptist, and that he will turn the hearts of fathers to their children, the hearts of children to their fathers. And this also is important for the prophecies that we're going to see in the gospel today, where Jesus is coming down the mountain and the disciples ask him, why is it said that Elijah must come before the day of the Lord? And that's a reference to the prophet Malachi, the very last of all the prophets in the Old Testament. So in a sense, the Old Testament ends with the prophecy of Malachi. And the last prophecy of Malachi is about how Elijah will come before the day of the Lord to turn the hearts of fathers to their children and children to their fathers for renewal, lest the Lord smite the land with a curse, there be a great judgment. And so Jesus then reveals that John the Baptist is the new Elijah, who is coming to prepare the way of the Lord before the day of the Lord. And so John the Baptist, again, is this figure during the 2nd and 3rd weeks of Advent. And John the Baptist's role is to call us, like Elijah the prophet, to repentance, to renewal, to give up earthly things and to pursue heavenly things. And that's what we'll see over the next few days. And so let's reflect on how God sends us John the Baptist, this new Elijah, and that fire is to purify us of all the dross and false things we're attached to, so that we can be free and for spiritual goods and for God. May the Lord bless and keep you.
This daily reflection is brought to you thanks to the generous support of the Mission Circle. Join the Mission Circle to help Catholics worldwide understand, live, and share their faith. Sign up at missioncircle.org today.